Greetings and welcome to another exciting edition of Poet to Poet. I'm Robert Dunn, and I have the distinction of hosting these taffy pulls. And today we're coming from the Crescent City Coffee House in Floral Park on Tulip Avenue. And thanks to Pina and Rosie for letting us come in and do this extravaganza. And it is, in fact, an extravaganza, a quiet, mellow one, if such a thing is possible, because we have two excellent poets with us. We have Annette Feldman on the one hand, and we have Lila Wheeler Duckett on the other, and they will dazzle you with all kinds of goodies. And these are poets with resumes that anybody would envy. And we'll start with Annette Feldman. Didn't mean to startle you there, Annette. Welcome to Poet. Now, Annette is the president and founder of the Shelley Society of New York. And we don't go into specific ages, but she's been doing it for quite some time. And met a lot of interesting people and made a lot of friends with it, and has gone international, as a matter of fact. Annette, tell us a little bit about the Shelley Society.
I founded the Shelley Society 22 years ago. And I founded it because of my great love of the verse and the political essays of Percy Bysshe Shelley, one of the great poets of the early 19th century, who has a long list of followers in today's world. Very, very long list. And started in the beginning with people like Robert Browning, George Bernard Shaw. I could go right down the list. This man, unfortunately, as everyone knows, was drowned 1 month before 30. But his wife wrote Frankenstein, and his mother-in-law, who we never met, unfortunately, was the first great woman liver, Mary Wollstonecraft.
She wrote a number of essays on the subject, as I recall.
And lived through the French Revolution and managed not to lose her life.
Just her pocketbook every once in a while.
That's another story.
Now,
Very great woman.
I understand you have a Shelley-inspired poem floating around.
Yes, I do. This poem was inspired by, I was in the Bodleian Library in Oxford.
It's further in, I think.
Yes, I know.
There we go.
And it's called Book Browsing in the Bodleian Library, Oxford, England. On a rainy August day in Oxford Library, I took to roving among some tomes displayed on open shelves. My mind was playing tricks and dreams schemed. Before me, a tall, stoop-shouldered young student browsed among the red and green leather-bound books displayed in nooks. Enthralled, his blue eyes lit with fervor, reading works by Voltaire, Rousseau, and Mary Wollstonecraft, a vindicated woman of her time. The specter vanished. Then I changed myself into a sleuth, searching for clues. I tried, unraveling the enigma, shrouding and clouding over Shelley's halo by those who sought to blur and laugh and thwart the genius of Ariel and pierce his painted veil.
I used to feel the same way about Shelley Berman. Lila, are there any Shelleys in your life?
There is a Shelley in my Fresh Meadows Poets group, Shelley Saltz, and she's a marvelous poet as well. Mm-hmm. Not with the background of the Shelley that Annette is speaking of.
I'll have to look her up sometime.
Please do that.
All I know is when I behaved like that in the library, they yanked my card. And we could do Shelley all through the program, but you have a number of other interests. Let's see, you're also an Egyptologist, in which you study Egyptology. How did you get involved with that ancient civilization?
I always loved it. From the beginning, of course, the Old Testament and the story of Moses in Egypt was one inspiration. And then, of course, I was very interested in the interpretation of the sacred writing, which took 3,000 years until Champollion finally opened up the key, and now everyone has it. You can go to the Museum of Art and get all kinds of tricks and books on reading the sacred writing. But it was very, very great. And I did take a trip to Egypt, and I had the honor later on, before I went to meeting Madame Sadat, and I found her charming, wonderful, a lovely lady to me. It was an honor. It was my second trip to Egypt was wonderful. Going down the Nile on the riverboat is something I will remember for the rest of my life.
I hope you went down on a boat.
The first time, no.
Oh, what did you use the first time?
First time, unfortunately, I was on a train for 4 hours, and all you could see was sheep and goats and goats and sheep. Wasn't exactly my idea.
How did they get the train in the middle of the river like that?
It was on the desert.
Ah,
The desert.
okay. I've seen you dabble in the sacred writings yourself.
Well, if I like someone, or if they are nice to me and they don't joke around too much, I'll write their name.
On a check, no doubt.
No check.
All right.
If I like you.
Do we have an Egypt-based poem in there?
Yes, there is one, in a sense.
Uh-huh.
And I think people may like that poem. May I say one comment? In Egypt, if you killed the cat, they killed you. The cat is sacred in Egypt. And so my poem is about cat. And it's a sestina. It's called Miss Kitty, the Devil Witch. Why do they call me Devil Witch? After a cyclist murdered my mother, I was left a starving kitten with hostile eyes. When I crawled under the trailer camp home, seeking shelter from wings swooping over me, my new mother brought me a bowl of milk, for she heard me mewing. Wary, I leaped at her, trying to scratch. She left. Blooming palms made me long to scratch it out. Stony-eyed, booty, devil witch. A whiskered old Tom crept by, scolding at my mewing. Furious, I spat at him with slitted eyes. How dare he chastise me instead of helping? Defiant, I hissed at him that the trailer camp was to be my home. 3 pit bulls, guardian angels, presumed they were protectors of my home. I waited. My furry paws grew claws, and I could scratch. I felt the power and the deity motivating me. Growling meant threats. They tried to boss the devil witch. I curled my tail in warning, stared them down, doom in my eyes. At every chance, I staged scenes by yowling, mewing. Afterwards, these giant dogs obeyed my mewing. I established all the rules within my home. Intruders in my world would read danger signals in my baleful eyes. People living near knew my nails could tear and scratch. Sometimes I'd put on an act, purring lovingly. I knew I was truly a devil witch. I had decided it would always be myself. I was Miss Kitty. First and foremost, me. The trailer camp echoed with my yowling, hissing, mewing. I roamed, caught mice, a prowler gloating when they called me Devil Witch. I knew I was a queen, ruler of my home. All were aware how my battling claws could scratch. They felt the peril in my yellow eyes. I live again. Bastet, the goddess cat. My eyes enchant all who idolize my temple home. My gilded nails are sharp, so I can scratch. My other name is Demon. Yours truly, me. Purring, mewing, hissing. I'm proud to be the famous Devil Witch.
like Meow Man. That certainly sounds like the standard poetry reading, wouldn't you say, Lila?
That was quite different and very exciting,
Did
too.
you ever have a cat?
No, I'm not a cat person.
Uh-huh.
I really have a fear of cats. I think it's because my mother said that when I was a baby,
Yeah.
a cat had come toward my crib and put its face in my face. And I'm not sure if that's the reason, but I'm a little hesitant. There's only been one cat that I've really been able to dwell with and spend any time with, and that was a neighbor's cat that was sick. I think comforting the cat because it was ill was a kind of responsibility that I felt I should take, and I did.
Not the devil witch, then?
No.
Oh, well. As Woody Allen once said, I would have been a cat burglar, but the whiskers made me sneeze.
Oh, Robert.
That's good.
Annette, do you have a wild card poem in there that we can throw in?
Wild card poem. What do you mean by? Oh yes.
Uh-oh. Oh, that one, yes.
like that
Annette, on top of everything else, is also something of a bon vivant. And every so often she runs into other bon vivants, and here's a poem about that.
The hitman's still doing his thing.
Is he
By the
now?
way, that's the last poem in
All
the
right.
carousel.
Okay.
What's really going on in his heart and brain? This midnight cowboy keeps pouring his murder to the heart, pursuing all the love-starved females and all those not so smart. He hijacks them at rap sections, bars, and discos. The hitman's stock play is rock better, cozy up to them with compliments, to lonely females seeking out for a relationship. Once in, he never fears to ask his honeydew for money. He woos her with cheap little gifts. His smiles are always sunny, and thus he's made his hit. But the story isn't new. It's only very true. As Shakespeare knew so well, it ends up with a sigh. But he never told us why.
You know, I've seen people behave like that when they were trying to get features. Shameful, absolutely. Annette, do you have a quick bit of advice for the aspiring poets in the audience?
Yes, I love poetry. Keep at it. Whatever you do, no matter how many people say you're no good, don't listen to them. It really is an art from the ancient times. The Greeks, of course, were writing it. The Egyptians did. And, of course, the Hebrews did. We could go right down through the ages. But you have it in you. As Shakespeare, as Shelley said, remember this. This is my code word. Poets are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. They really write the laws.
In
So
that
think
case-
of that.
In that case, I'm missing a lot of campaign contributions.
But
Thank
you'll
you.
get it.
Thank you, Annette Feldman, for coming on Poet the Poet. We'll be back in a moment with Lila Duckett. Don't go away now.